Hey guys, so I've stumbled upon a little bit of a gem. Oh, so it's like 5:57 in the morning, and I've stumbled upon this YouTuber who he's leaving a lot of hate on my videos. So I mean, let me have a look. He did like an angry face with swords. It's telling me that something about like how me and Rag Reynolds haven't really spoken much. He's gone on about how he'd love to see Rag Reynolds like beat me up to the bone, that I'm unarguably the worst person in the world, shit like that. He's just been spamming my content, and so what I thought I would do is be the petty bitch that I can be and go check out his YouTube channel. So the YouTube is called Darkyboode32. So I guess let's watch this together. I found this channel. He has a video called I Hate Australia, and so if you're a hater, this may happen to you.
He gives you the cash. He so does give you the cash. He'll get money from his videos. He'll do what he can. My name is Darkyboode32, and I'm not feeling too good at the moment, and I'll tell you why in this video.
Is this like a parody channel? Like, is he memeing or?
I am having pretty disturbing thoughts. I am mentally disturbed and depressed, and I literally feel like barfing up an entire meal I had in a sitting. But before I do explain everything to you, let me give you some examples of some of the worst things in the world. We have cancer. Cancer is one of the worst things anybody could ever possibly have. And it is the #1 disease that has the highest mortality rate. And so many people
I'm gonna have to check that.
Donated millions on their GoFundMe page to get a cure for it. Then we have terrorists, those nasty gangs of war that were founded by their ferocious.
I'm gonna stop in there for a second because I just wanted to bring up a point. Now, terrorists aren't necessarily the worst or the best things. It depends on context. Now, for instance, it could be easily said that Julian Assange is a terrorist, but he released and exposed a lot of stuff on like a lot of multiple government parties. Terrorism simply translates to opposition of government. So in some places that may be a good thing. I just don't want that to be misconstrued, because like there have been places with incredibly corrupt government parties. If we look at the Philippines with one of the last presidents there, apparently he was quite shitty and tried to put in something similar to martial law to stop people from putting him out of election. Now, in certain things, that works, and it could be easy to say that if a community disagrees against a government form, that them protesting and going against that could potentially be an act of terrorism too. There's a spectrum to it. Of course, he's probably referring to suicide bombers and stuff like that, but I just don't think that you should bastardize the term terrorist.
A nasty leader, Osama bin Laden, but have one group in particular by the name of ISIS.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a thing.
Fighting everybody and going all shenanigans in Syria and Iraq. There are also anti-bronies.
Wait. So first he's like, he says Osama bin Laden's part of both ISIS and Al-Qaeda, even though from my understanding Al-Qaeda was actually separate to then he says bro, they're not bronies. This is gonna be a joke, okay?
People hating on MLP, Justin Bieber haters, and of course, almost naked animals. My list could go on forever, but I have...
Oh wait, I see. So I don't think it came across. I think he meant that he hates terrorists, mentioned Osama bin Laden, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and then he said bronies as if they were related, but he's listing things that he hates.
One thing that I hate over everything I just listed. There is a very nasty country somewhere in the southern hemisphere, in the continent of Oceania, where it is insanely hot. The people have...
Insanely hot, huh? Let me just check, because I'm fucking freezing right now. So, we're just gonna go... Okay, I'm gonna cover my location, but that Celsius. We are currently sitting at 12 degrees Celsius right now. I'm freezing. So, I don't know about you, but that's not particularly hot. Don't get me wrong. In summer we can be hot, but in winter we're cold. That's how seasons work.
Bad and irritating accents that get on.
You're dissing our accent right now. I'm gonna let that sit with you for a second.
My nerves. Poisonous and disgusting animals.
I mean, the platypus technically is poisonous, but the male ones... But usually the poison's either snakes, which is technically an animal, or spiders. Now, you can find those two things being poisonous all over the world, not just Australia.
A rotting yeast by the name of Vegemite.
I agree, Vegemite is disgusting, and people might say that I am un-Australian for saying that, but it is, okay? I don't like salt very much, and Vegemite is salty. Accidentally muted.
Have guessed by now, I am talking about Australia.
God hates Australia.
Okay.
Okay, you're gonna quote Westboro Baptist Church.
Land of the sodomite damned, the fag-infested.
At least he believes in us.
Burning. The fire of God's wrath is sending hundreds of those filthy Australian beasts straight to hell.
Yes, that is right. The Commonwealth of Australia, the worst country in the entire world. When you think about it, with all the things I just listed, this country that I am going to be discussing is just all out bad and undoubtedly the worst country in the world. Now, there aren't actually a lot of Australia hate videos out there, and I actually didn't want to make this video myself, but I had to in some hope that it will cure my adversity. When you really think about it, Australia itself is a pretty bad country, and I am so baffled by how this country could even exist.
I mean, it does. What do you... Yeah, is this gonna be a Rag Reynolds point 2? Or Rag Reynolds 2.0?
But it doesn't exist. However, that is a topic I might cover for another day. Today we're gonna have a discussion about why Australia is the worst country in the world. As I already said, the insane heat. The average temperature is over 50 degrees Celsius every day on that shitty wasteland.
Oh, I already disproved it. We are not 50 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Let's see if we've changed our temperature reading to, nope, still 12 degrees.
I could not possibly survive on an island with that high of an average temperature. I would die of a heat stroke within hours. I would rather be on an island that has an average daily temperature of 15 degrees, like Britain, my country. But
so you like our temperature? Okay.
Australia being over 50 degrees is just too much overkill when it comes to the heat. As we all know, the people in Australia are very racist and nasty.
I mean, people everywhere can be racist and nasty, and then there's the opposite. For instance, yesterday there was a guy that I was helping onto the bus. He had a walking frame, and he was very appreciative of me helping him. I'm not sure what race he was, but he seemed to feel like people just treated him like shit all the time because of his race. And I mean, it happens, but it happens everywhere. There's also people who are quite the opposite, who don't bat an eyelid. If you go to Australia, actually, a lot of our population, like, I don't look like the traditional Australian. A lot of our population is actually either like Lebanese, Aussie, like Asian, sorry, is what I meant to say. It's like 6 a.m. in the morning. So you've got Lebanese people, you've got Asian people, you've got Italian people, you've got African people. Like, you've got to remember that Australia was colonized, and that the original people to be part of Australia was the Aboriginal people. Essentially, the majority of us, of all different races, came from elsewhere. And so we have a lot of people who have immigrated to Australia, and that means that there is no base level except for the Aboriginal people, although they're the ones that I've received racism from the most. Them and probably Somalians have been incredibly racist to me as well. But racism's different here. From what I understand online, like, a lot of people are like, only white people can be racist, or that. That's not the case here. Everybody was once an immigrant, essentially, at least down their family line.
They have bad accents. They
Again, with the voice thing.
do abnormal things, and they have very shitty slang. Example.
What a lot of people think our slang isn't our slang at all. I mean, I talk on here how I talk IRL.
Include greeting somebody when saying good day, mates. Call it.
Not very many people even say g'day, mate, because it's become a meme. Like, it's people used to say it, and then everybody started, like, pointing it out, and now everybody's like, hey, how are you going, or something like that. Like, if I see my friends, I'm like, hey, how are you? That's how we talk.
McDonald's smackers.
We do call McDonald's Maccas.
Mostly calling all of your friends your mates.
I don't call anybody mates, but some people do call them mates. And you know where we got that slang from? England.
And also calling themselves Aussies. And considering of how bad the people are, whenever I hear an Australian say Aussie, 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 oi, 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 in front of me, I just want to shoot them.
I mean, you guys probably have your country chants too for sports games. That's something that we do at sports games when we're competing against people.
In their liver with the Magnum 44, considering that half
quite
of
violent,
Australia's
actually.
population are alcoholic, they'd have...
Okay. So that's a lie. There is a reputation of Australians drinking alcohol. The closest thing to alcohol that I drink is this stuff. Kombucha. So kombucha is basically, a fermented SCOBY tea, and it's good for your gut. It's got probiotics in it, and basically what they do is they chuck a tea in, like, they make a tea, they chuck in a bunch of sugar with it, and then they chuck in whatever flavorings that they're making it with, and then they put a SCOBY mushroom in and let it start to ferment. Now, that is so low alcohol content that a 6-year-old can go purchase this if they'd like. And, like, you don't need an ID to purchase it at all. That's the only thing I drink. My mother doesn't drink. My brother and sister do, but the thing is, like, that happens everywhere. People will either drink or they won't drink. It doesn't mean the entire nation are alcoholics. I mean, an alcoholic is somebody who's overly dependent and reliant on alcohol, and I don't really know anybody who is to the extreme that it affects their life. So,
have very weak livers. And
my liver's fine.
Since the Magnum 44 has the maximum pressure of 36,000 psi, shooting an Australian in the liver would certainly be fatal.
I mean, probably shooting anybody in the liver would probably be fatal.
Another thing that really gets on my nerves when it comes to Australia is the poisonous animals. Australia has arguably the most venomous snakes than any other country in the world. And all the Australians think that they're living in harmony on the...
You do realise how, like, a lot of countries actually have a lot of venomous things. For instance, in the Amazon there's a spider. I believe this spider's from the Amazon anyway. And it's called the assassin spider, which is incredibly deadly. Now, I think it's about 1 millimeter tall. It can't penetrate our skin, but the venom itself is incredibly deadly. Now, there's a lot of venomous things all over the world, and not just Australia. Snakes, like, can be or won't be venomous depending on what kind of defense mechanisms that they've grown up environmentally with through evolution. And you know what? I've never actually seen a snake outside of a thing like a zoo. I've only seen snakes in zoos. So, oh, and when the snake person brought snakes to my school that one time.
This shitty, dangerous island with all these poisonous animals, with snakes such as the black snake, tiger snake, taipan, and the carpet python. Just...
I'm pretty sure carpet pythons aren't actually venomous. They focus on crushing, but...
to name a few. And we also can't forget about the redback spider.
So the redback spider only lives in part of Australia.
A spider with venom.
Should have thought about the funnel web, to be honest. Like, that's so much scarier than the redback.
That would kill its prey within minutes.
That's an exaggeration. That is a major exaggeration. It doesn't kill it within minutes. It's a little bit longer than that. But yeah.
Just how delusional are these Aussies?
Some people have actually survived it.
Delusional, if I do say so myself, as Australians can't tell that the place is dangerous for them, which makes them very drugged.
Wait. So because there are, in the bush part of Australia, probably some poisonous spiders and snakes that actually don't necessarily attack people instantly or anything, that means that we're on drugs. Right.
It's just really nonsensical the more you think about it. So, have you ever noticed how bad the food in Australia is?
As I said, we're multicultural. Food is actually really awesome here. I went to the city the other day and got some really awesome dishes, which I will show you in a moment because I am... Okay, so, I mean, we've got that, right? So this is a ramen dish, which was absolutely amazing. There's this dish that I got, which was also really good. It's a rice bowl. So this was a unicorn burrito. So good. I loved it. I mean, this was a tea made out of the berries from the coffee plant. I mean, like, I don't know what he means by food is bad, because we're a multicultural company. company. We're a multicultural country that has a lot of food from a lot of different places.
I mean, sure, they do throw some shrimps on the barbecue.
We don't even call them shrimps here. Like, it's prawns. We call it a prawn. And not once have I seen a person put them on the barbecue. Usually how I cook prawns is I fry them up a little bit and chuck them in my mee goreng.
From time to time. And yeah, we do have shrimps in the UK as well. So shrimp is not too bad of a food. But one food that really wants me to make me bath up what I had for dinner last night is one food known as Vegemite.
Well, Vegemite's an acquired taste, and like, not every Australian eats it. And I actually believe it's a rendition of an English food called Marmite. So
that rotten yeast that would taste so fucking bad if anybody in the world would ever taste it, that you'd never want to eat for a week and would be willing to get your sense of taste back.
most people think that Australians just eat it out of the jar with a spoon, by the way. That's not the case. What Australians tend to do is they'll get toast or bread, put some butter on, and a tiny little bit of Vegemite. I don't particularly like it, but others do, to increase the salty kind of flavour of butter. That's pretty much how it's usually used.
Now, before any of you ask if I've ever been to Australia before, no, I have not.
Well, that's obvious.
I'm never gonna go, ever in my life. I don't want to get
jealous?
Engaged with these Australians. And if I do, they're gonna deserve what I do to them by shooting them in the liver. Also, if you ask if I've met anybody from Australia, yes, I have. Only one person, but I regret seeing that person ever in my entire life. I want to forget them. As I wrap this up, I'm gonna give you all a little statement. Australia is just as bad as cancer, ISIS, anti-bronies, Justin Bieber haters, and almost naked animals. All
Naked
those
animals?
things are bad, and Australia
So do you dress up your pets?
is much worse than any of them combined. Also, if there are any Australians willing to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I suggest that you do not, and click off my channel right now. I don't want to hear from any of you.
Well, you are getting that.
Jeez. Sorry if I got too heated up in this video. But this is just because I hate Australia so much.
Why do you keep binge watching my videos
I
then?
think I'll go calm down in a minute and probably put everything behind me. But now you know that Australia is the worst country in the world and that I hate it.
You can't
And
hate something
until
you haven't
next
tried.
time, my name is Darkyboode32 and thank
Wait.
you for listening.
Is he saying Starkey Beauty? A booty?
Darkyboode32
He can't pronounce his own YouTube name. Huh.
and thank you for listening, humanity.
Radio. Well, that was a thing. I guess this is my video response to you, Darkyboode. Darkyboode32. So, yeah.